Okay guys, this is amazing news. So Virgin Galactic opened 20% higher than its previous close. We're at about $25 today and we've managed to maintain that level, which is very exciting, and it's as expected because we had a successful test flight just 2 days ago. But the real question is, for investors, what is going to happen to the company in the future? What are the next catalysts which are going to take the stock to $30, $40, $60, and maybe even over $100. Hey everyone, welcome back to Underdog Investing. So that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about some of the timelines and potential catalysts which is going to take the stock from these levels at the moment all the way to about $100 or more. So if that's something you're interested in watching, stay tuned, and I'll be grateful that you can smash that like button and subscribe to this channel for future updates if you haven't already. So let's just have a look at the stock price in a little bit more detail first. So you can see over the past 5 days, we're actually up about 50%, which is a massive increase in the stock price. So congratulations to anyone who actually bought during the lows on Thursday. You're actually up about 60%, so that's amazing. If you have a look at the 1 year chart, you can see that we're still down quite significantly. We're still down about 57%. So we've got a long way to go in terms of reaching the recent all-time highs again. So anyway, let's talk about what's important. So what's really important is what's going to happen next in terms of the next major catalyst, which is going to push this stock even higher than it is today. So to find that out, we look at the Q1 2021 earnings presentation, and you can see that this is one of the slides. So it's very important. It is the flight test program. So we've got 4 flights before we become commercially viable, and if we have a look here, the first flight is the one that we just completed just 2 days ago, and it was successful. So we evaluated the launch timing. We did a rocket powered space flight with 2 pilots on board. We've still got 3 more flights left, and they're very exciting. So the second flight is going to include 2 pilots, and it's going to have a cabin of mission specialists. So the previous one only had 2 pilots. This one's going to have a full cabin of mission specialists. The third one is the very exciting one, which will include Sir Richard Branson. So this one is likely to generate the most publicity. So it's probably going to be one of the biggest catalysts for the stock in terms of increasing the stock price. And then you've got the 4th flight, which might sound a bit boring, but it's actually very important. This is going to be the first full revenue generating flight, and it is going to show how Virgin Galactic can not only be successful in terms of space tourism, but also in the field of research and astronaut training. So if we have a look a bit lower down, you can see that this is the private astronaut market. We've got 600 future astronaut reservations. So this is for the space tourism. And then we've got the research side of things. So research and professional astronaut training. And here they mentioned that the 4th test flight that I've just showed you earlier on is the first full revenue flight with $2 million in total revenue and $500,000 per seat equivalent. So that's more than the actual space tourism ticket prices, and that basically means that we've got 4 seats for the astronaut training and microgravity research. So that's very exciting. But the real question again is when are these catalysts going to happen? So we actually had Michael Colglazier go on CNBC very recently. This was after the successful test flight. And what he said was he thinks that the second test flight is likely to happen very soon, at some point this summer of 2021. And so what he said was, in terms of the first test flight, what they're going to do now is for the next few weeks, they're going to analyze the data that they've collected from this test flight. And it's going to take a few weeks, and this is his timeline. The second test flight is likely to happen in summer. The third one he thinks is going to happen again in summer as well. So he thinks they're going to be quite close together. And this is the one that is going to include Sir Richard Branson. And then the 4th one he thinks is going to be before 2022 again. And he thinks it's going to be somewhere in fall of 2021. So maybe around September-ish. But that's his timeline. Now I'm going to explain to you why I think that this is a bit unrealistic. So what I think is more likely is potentially we're going to complete these 4 test flights by the end of 2022. And the reason why I say that is if you consider the fact that this first test flight was supposed to be completed in December, but due to an electromagnetic interference problem, it was delayed by about 6 months. So that is quite a slow turnover in terms of fixing an issue and getting the flight back on track. And there's a possibility that we may not see any hiccups or any delays or any issues, maintenance issues with the next test flights, and potentially we can get all of these test flights sorted by the end of 2021. But the only thing is, imagine if there were 2 more hiccups like the first test flight, and each one, imagine, takes about 6 months again to reevaluate, to fix, to analyze. Potentially that can take the timeline to complete everything from the end of 2021 all the way to the end of 2022, because 2 6-month fixing issues is going to be 1 year. So that's the reason why I think it's nice and optimistic to think that we can finish everything by 2021. But at the same time, we have to be realistic and take into account potential delays due to problems with maintenance, issues with the aircrafts, as well as the just general delays, weather conditions. But I do think they have an incentive to try and complete everything by this summer, because the weather's just generally nicer during summer. So they probably have a higher chance of success and a higher chance of not letting the weather get in the way of any scheduled flights. So hopefully, let's fingers crossed, hopefully everything goes smoothly, but it's just something to keep in mind as an investor. So yeah, so there's plenty of catalysts coming up, and this is one of the reasons why I'm planning to hold this stock for the long term. I'm not planning to sell any of my shares purely because of the amount of catalysts coming up. And one of the things I wanted to mention is the fact that if we do finish, let's say if we become commercially viable by the end of 2022 as opposed to the start of 2022, I think that might be a good thing, because although commercial viability is very close in terms of we can almost taste it now, what's really important is, are we able to scale the business in order to actually get enough test flights going to actually fulfill the customer's dreams? And the reason why I say that is because at the moment it's more easy to actually become commercially viable than it is to scale the production to a point where we've got enough spacecrafts, we've got enough space ports, because these things take a lot of time, solidifying contracts with different space ports, and creating enough motherships, creating enough spaceships in order to actually fulfill the customer orders. So that's one of the important things, and I think giving it another year wouldn't hurt. I don't think that they're going to be able to solve this problem by the start of 2022. So I think that actually spreading it out a bit and actually completing by the end of 2022 is a good thing. And it's not like we are short of cash. We've got plenty of cash to last us plenty of time. So taking our time, completing these test flights, if anything, we're spreading out the catalysts to give the stock price some time to consolidate after each catalyst, and also allowing us to scale production is all a positive. So if we get delayed, I personally think it's not that much of an issue, because there's so many other things that we need to get in place after we become commercially viable. So anyway, that's my take on it, and that's why I'm planning to hold for the long term. I'm not planning to sell any shares, but I am very excited about the stock price now and where it could be in the future. And I think that after these 4 flights, we can easily take ourselves to over $100. The reason for that is because we're going to be commercially viable by then, and we're actually going to be making revenue, and it's going to be very exciting. I think it's going to take a lot of people by surprise in terms of how much revenue we can actually generate, not only from the space program and the space tourism side of things, but also from the microgravity research and the astronaut training. So space is the future, and I have a lot of optimism for Virgin Galactic, and I'm very excited. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for future updates if you haven't already, and comment down below what your thoughts are in terms of the timeline. When do you think these are going to be completed, and also what are your thoughts in terms of the stock price? If you found this useful, I'll be grateful if you can share this with your friends. But otherwise, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.